everybody, Marco here, the Bob Ross of ESO. I don't know about you, but I'm loving the new Necrom chapter. I've been working on an Arcanist build since it was released on the test server, and the truth is, there are a ton of ways to play this versatile new class. My version is godlike, unkillable, easy to play, but most importantly, it's fun to watch. If you like build videos for ESO, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel, throw me a like and a comment. It helps me so much and I do appreciate it. I've seen several of my fellow content creators make Arcanist build using the Oakensoul ring as the mythic. That's a huge mistake. Here's why. Zoss went to a lot of trouble making the animations, colors, sounds, and everything else dealing with the Arcanist skills unique and awesome. There are 18 new skills, and this doesn't even include the slight variations in the morphs. My point is, if you're going to build an Arcanist, you want to take full advantage of how cool it looks to play, and a one-bar Oakensoul build just doesn't cut it. Now, my unkillable godlike Arcanist can be played more or less as a one-bar build, meaning you don't have to bar swap to stay alive. In my build, you bar swap just to show off and display some of those Green Hornet effects and buffs. So let's get into it. All 64 attribute points go into Magika. Arcanists are magical, runestone-based casters. If you're playing a Stamina Arcanist, that's fine, I suppose, to each his own, but a Stamina Arcanist goes against the natural inclinations of the class. Looking at the stats, we have nearly 31k max Magika, 26k max health, and 46% weapon and spell critical, which isn't too shabby. The Thief is the Mundus boon, which helps those stats. Bewitched Sugar Skulls is the food I'm using, and the blue Tri-Stat potions are loaded up, but you're rarely going to need to use a potion. I'm also leveling up a Xander as my new companion. He has an awesome passive skill called a Xander's Inquisitiveness, and he's also an Arcanist, so 2 is better than 1, right? The main flaw that I see in this Arcanist build is its lack of a burst heal. It has the curative rune line of class abilities, but they're all heal over time spells or damage shields. For this reason, the Arcanist can be a little squishy, especially for new players against challenging boss fights. I counteract that defect with the Mythic and one of the armor set choices. The Mythic is the good old Ring of the Pale Order. I have the Bloodthirsty trait on it with the multi-effect enchantment. The Ropo gives 20% of the damage we deal back to us as health. Now, since we can't use a full monster set, I paired the ring with a Slimecraw guise for the extra crit chance. The Slimecraw has the Divine trait and a Magika enchant as well. Okay, let's talk about the 5-piece armor sets now. I use 1 defensive set and 1 offensive set to balance the build out. Arcanists can generate Crux, which appear as the 3 floating green triangles. And if 3 things floating around you is good, then 6 things floating around you is fabulous, right? Plus, green triangles and red balls have such a Christmas feel, don't you agree? The red ball effect comes from wearing the 5 pieces of Ebon armor. The Ebon set gives us a ton of health, making this Arcanist very hard to kill. The offensive set I'm using is Order's Wrath, super easy to craft set that gives us spell critical and 8% critical healing. Ebon armor is an easy to acquire dungeon set coming from Crypt of Hearts, which is a 4-man dungeon that I often solo. The offensive set that I was using on the test server was Noble Duelist. Now that's a dungeon set that comes from the Blessed Crucible. The 5-piece bonus adds a huge amount of damage to both light and heavy attacks, so that's also a tremendous set to have on this build if you don't mind farming 2 different dungeons for your gear. You want to gold everything out with the Divine trait and the Magika enchants. On the jewelry, I like Bloodthirsty as the trait and the multi-effect enchantments. On the weapon, I use a Lightning Staff, but the Inferno Staff will also work well. I have the Precise trait and the Shock Damage enchant on my weapon. On the back bar, I'm using an infused Maelstrom Lightning Staff with the weapon enchant. Now the fun bit, the Arcanist abilities. The new mechanic is to build up Crux and then release an ability that benefits from that. I use Cephaleric's Flail as my Crux building spammable. This is in the Herald of the Tome abilities and is actually a stamina morph. Again, I make builds for balance. This skill deals out 5k damage, gives 2k healing, and most importantly, generates that Crux. When you have 3 green triangles, release the second skill, Pragmatic Fate Carver. And this is also in Herald of the Tome, and it gives us that ultra cool energy beam and does a ton of damage over time. Skill 3 is Escalating Rune Blades. You launch a series of deadly runes and it looks like you're dealing cards. This ability also generates Crux. The fourth ability is Unstable Wall of Storms from the Destruction Staff line. This is my only non-Arcanist ability that I've slotted. The fifth ability on the front bar is Crux Weave Armor. It gives us major resolve and increases armor by 6k. The ultimate is the Tide King's Gaze, an absolutely insane looking damage over time spell, which follows the target. It's really so cool. Now on the back bar I use the same ultimate. I slot Recuperative Treatise, which enhances class abilities, generates Crux, and increases weapon and spell damage by 20%, just for being slotted. Next I have Arcanist Domain from the Curative Runeforms line. This creates a huge green vortex, which I love, and gives us a bunch of buffs, including weapon and spell damage. In the third slot, I put the Imperfect Ring from Herald of the Tome. It's a stamina damage over time that deals nearly 14k worth of pain, and can also trigger a strange frost synergy. And yes, your companion can trigger that. The fourth ability on the back bar is Curative Surge. This creates a healing beam that heals for over 32k over 5 seconds. It's from the Curative Runeform line. And last I chose the Chakram of Destiny from the same healing line. This one creates spinning green discs, generating Crux, and gives a nice damage shield. All in all, an awesome looking set of new spells to impress your fellow players. Obviously, with this new class, there are a bunch of variations and different ways you can go with the choice of abilities. I go for cool looks, balance, and fun to play action. Champion points are pretty basic. The green craft tree, I'm using Gifted Rider to increase speed until my mount is fully trained, Steed's Blessing for the same reason, Master Gatherer for harvesting, and Meticulous Disassembly for crafting materials. In the blue Warfare tree, I've slotted Arcane Supremacy for extra magicka, Untamed Aggression for more weapon and spell damage, Thaumaturge for all the damage over time increases, and Wrathful Strikes for more weapon and spell damage. In the red Fitness tree, I've slotted Boundless Vitality for health, Fortified for armor, Rejuvenation for recovery, and Siphoning Spells for the Magika resource generation. Now that's about the size of my godlike, unkillable, fun-to-play Arcanist. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let me know how you're playing the Arcanist in ESO. As always, I'm Marco. Have fun playing the new class in ESO. Be kind to one another, and keep exploring.